Hello, everybody. It's Jade Pluck here of Virtually Anywhere. Nice to uh, uh, have this training session with you all. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, as just before we start, my business has been going for a couple of years now. It's 2 years this month, which is very exciting, and it's been growing very nicely over the course of the couple of years that I've been going. And I have used LinkedIn for my business. I was actually on it before I launched the business to kind of get a feel for it and work my way around it and start making those connections. So it's, for myself, been a really invaluable tool for growing my business, and also for learning as well. It's, as with all social sites, LinkedIn is full of information. So um, on today's session, we are going to run through your profile, how to make the most of it, and experiences with this. And of course, there are ways to adapt it. So I just want to kind of pass on the knowledge that I've gained through networking, and how that's brought in clients via LinkedIn. So I'll be pointing to bits on the screen. I've done this by doing screenshots to run through things with you. I find it's easier to visually look at something for yourselves rather than just look at a load of text. So um, any questions, as Jackie said, put them in that box, and I will do my best to get them all answered as we go through. Um, so just to start off with, how many I'm sure, I think you are all on LinkedIn, but I just want to check, do you all have a LinkedIn profile? Just raise your hand if you do. Excellent. So it looks like most of you, there's a couple that haven't, but most of you have got a LinkedIn profile, which is brilliant. Oh, thank you. Yes, unraise your hands. It's lovely. So, Um, as I said, that's what we're covering in this session. And just to briefly, you might know this already, but with regards to LinkedIn, it's one of the world's largest professional networks, and I think why a lot of people like it in comparison to Twitter or Facebook is because it's more professional, it's more work based. And as of January this year, LinkedIn reported that there was more than 200 million users on LinkedIn. So, I mean, really, if you're looking to find, your target market and clients, LinkedIn is definitely one of the ways that you're going to find them. And it allows you to build relationships and trust with people, potential clients, and maybe associates, and just colleagues, other VAs. I mean, I'm connected with quite a lot of VAs on LinkedIn. We all share information, so it's really good for that too. And we'll talk about keywords, a bit later on, but LinkedIn is ranked really highly within Google. So if you've got a LinkedIn profile and someone is searching for you or your business, then that your LinkedIn profile is going to come up on page one of Google. And I'm sure your websites would as well, but it's always good to have that other sources of people be able to get information from you, about you. So just so that I know I've talked about me being on it. Um, Personally, I've gained about probably just over a quarter of my clients through LinkedIn. That combined with Twitter, my main kind of ways that I gain clients online. So if you're prepared to put the time in and to find the content and to help people, it will definitely work for you. So, first of all, we're looking at your profile. So, here's mine. I've taken them all from my LinkedIn account. Definitely, you want to have a professional photo. It's no. I mean, do you have professional photos on your LinkedIn profile? Just raise your hand if you do. Excellent. So most of you have. So for those that haven't, it's really worth investing in getting a shot done. You can use it across all of your social sites then and your website. Keep that branding the same. People then start to recognize you and recognize what you look like. So, I mean, my advice there is talking about uh, networking groups, as we're talking about them today. Find a photographer in a local networking group. That's what I did, and it's very cost effective. You'll find that they'll do it at a really good price for you. So yes, definitely use a professional headshot. And then I'm just gonna get this little arrow here. So I'm just talking about this now. Your professional headline. Now a lot of people put managing director of, CEO of. So putting your position within a company is fine. A lot of people do it, but if you can elaborate a bit more and put in some key words, I'll show you a future key slide on the keywords. But for example, in mine, I've got social media and I've got business support. So when people are searching for a virtual assistant that could help them with social media, your profile will come up high if you've got those keywords, especially in your professional headline. You've got about 100 characters. Really play around with it, and people call it, your elevator pitch. That's quite a common phrase within a networking, in the networking like terminology, you could say. So definitely have a look at that and just see what words are relevant to you and what you do. Are you a copywriter? Are you an ebook formatter? What things do you do that you can put in there? I would definitely say add your location. The reason I say that is, although we're virtual assistants, quite a lot of my clients like the fact that I'm local, and they have also, it's come into consideration when they're choosing a virtual assistant that they like someone who is more local to them. So I would definitely put your location in there, um, and your public profile, which is just down here. And I'm sure you all know how to amend all these bits, but if you're in your LinkedIn your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn account, you'll go up to the top and you can see edit profile in a little drop down in a drop down box. So you do all the edits from in there. Anyway, back to the LinkedIn the URL. That is when you start up your account, you'll get a funny one with loads of numbers in that's very long and rambly. What you can do is change that. I mean, I've chosen to put my business name there. You could put your name there. It makes sure that if you're putting it on your business card, if you're putting it on your email signature, it just looks a lot neater. Um, so it just makes it easier for people to connect with you. So that's definitely a good thing. So just going to move on now. This is the contact information. Since LinkedIn changed its layout, I mean, it very rarely changes LinkedIn, but it did a couple of months ago now. Now your contact information is more hidden, which I think people do know where it is, but just just be aware of that. When you're looking at other people's profiles as well. So within your contact information, just going to first of all just talk about the websites here. Now, how many of you have got your website linked to your LinkedIn profile? If you could just raise your hands. Okay, about half. So for those of you that have, just make sure that when you are writing in your website, select other from the drop down menu, because by selecting other, you're able to write in where I've written there, virtually anywhere's website. If you don't, if you select, a website as an option, you will just have company website and it's a standard text. But by having other selected, you're able to give people a bit more information about where they're going to be directed to. And you can have up to 3 in there. That's why I've put my website, my blog, and my newsletter, so that if people want to be directed directly to these pages, they can do. So definitely something to look at. If you haven't got your website on there, definitely put it on there. And if you've got it on there, just make sure that you've got that detailed. Next thing is Twitter. Definitely connect your Twitter account to LinkedIn if you have one. They did change it recently, a few months ago now, because you used to be able to post automatically. Whenever you posted on LinkedIn, it will go through onto Twitter, and vice versa. You could actually put all of your tweets onto LinkedIn, but they changed that now. I mean, if you're posting all your Twitter, all your tweets onto LinkedIn, it's far too noisy for your connections, and they'll just get annoyed with you, and that's why they took it off. So now there'll be a future slide on, if you're writing a LinkedIn update, you can actually choose if you want it to go on your LinkedIn profile and your Twitter account as a same kind of update. So I would definitely put that on there, because you're saving time. If you're sharing great content, you're looking to share that with potential clients, there's no harm in sharing that on Twitter too. And I've never really known what IM stands for, but I've always just put my Skype in there. I do a lot of training by Skype with clients, so I just like to have my Skype address in there. And personally, I put my just make sure all your other contact details are filled in. So, sorry, we've got a question here. Is it best to, Alison said, is it best to use your company name or own name in the URL? I mean, either or, because in your website, you're going to have your name and you're going to have your business name, and you're going to be known for both. So it really is personal preference. I mean, personally, I have my Facebook and my LinkedIn as my business name, and I have Twitter as my own name. I do keep it. The reason for Twitter being my own name is I actually started it while I was still employed. So I didn't, just when I was getting a feel for it. That's why. So I mean, business name, if you're using it for business, that's why I picked my business name. So yeah, there's not a definite answer there, but really it's personal preference, because you'll both be picked up. So next slide. So this slide here, I'm showing you the keywords. So when I did an advanced search, and the advanced search is found in the top of LinkedIn, there's a search bar, and there's advanced written next to it. And I typed in the keywords virtual assistant, social media, Kent. And obviously I'm going to come up first because it's me. But as you can see, if you can, let me just, sorry, I moved the arrow here. As you can see, because I've got social media written in my header, it brings you up, very high. And exactly the same here as Joanna King. She's got social media and virtual assistant. I've got virtual assistant there as well. We've both got that, so you're both gonna, you're gonna come up high in a search, in a search box. So that I just wanted to show you there, how it works. And if you don't have the keywords in your header, but you have them in your summary, we'll talk about your summary later, it still brings you up. So what you would do, I've got a screenshot of it later, but it shows you when you click into that person's profile where those keywords are. So I hope that there gives you an indication of that. This slide here was the one that I was talking about when you're writing an update and you can share it, there with your LinkedIn connections and your Twitter connections, or just on LinkedIn. So have a think about what you're sharing. I mean, really, whatever you share on LinkedIn would be appropriate for Twitter. The other way around, it would probably almost be, not the case. So that's there, and that's found. You can write an update on your home page. That's where you would go to write this, this update. We will be talking more about content in the next part, so we'll cover that then. So going on, this slide here shows you what those keywords look like in your summary. So I did exactly the same, search criteria there, and as you can see from my profile, I've got those keywords in there. So therefore it brings you up. Your profile gets brought up. So just gonna talk a bit more about your summary. How many of you have got a summary written on your LinkedIn profile? Right, looks like it's almost all of you. So I mean, some might just, you might not be, you might not just have answered, but brilliant. I mean, I'm sure most people do. So in your LinkedIn summary, it's a really great way to, promote yourself, promote your business, and share with people what you do. And personally, I know the questions that people always ask me, not in Twitter, is, what do I do? What does a virtual assistant do? Which I don't know about you. I find it a very hard question to answer because I do different things for all my clients. So what I decided to do on my profile was give an example of some of the work that I've done, just to give people an idea. So what you want to kind of have a look at and play around with, because your LinkedIn summary is not set in stone. Once you've done it, always what I would say is definitely go back to it every couple of months, and just check that everything's current, everything's up to date, and just if you want to add anything else in it. So you might want to put a bit about you, a bit about your business. You can go into a little bit of personal detail. I mean, I wouldn't go into too much, but you could put in a little bit there of about you and your business. Perhaps what you're passionate about, why you do what you do in your business. Whatever your niche might be, whatever your the services you might provide, you might love doing those tasks. So you could put that in there. Definitely, what you specialize in, because we're all different virtual assistants. We all have our own specialisms. I don't know if that's a word actually. So write them down. The great thing about the VA community is that we all work together, and if a client needs something that we don't have, then we share that work between us. So um, definitely put them on there. And the benefits to your clients. I mean, as everyone always says, even with the wording of your website, what are the benefits to your clients? Why would they want to work with you? What's it going to do for them? Why people should work with you? What do you do that's different? What do you give as that extra bit of service that makes their lives easier? And you may want to, I mean, I've used very general things in my profile about how I help people, but you might want to be a bit more specific. You might want to, actually use some case studies of some clients to really, paint a picture of what you do for your clients. And really, I mean, the best thing to do, have a look around, see what other people have written, take your time in writing your profile. And if if spelling and grammar are not your strong points, what you must do is get someone to check your summary to make sure there's no spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. Because I think, being a professional, being business support to other people, you need to have that professional feel on LinkedIn. So that there, just to say, this here specialities, that's no longer available on. It's done slightly different with the skills and expertise. That's because I've had my profile set up for quite a while, so that's why that's there. So next I'm going to look at is this new thing, this new kind of area that LinkedIn's brought in, LinkedIn skills and expertise. It It's definitely a good thing, because if people are seeing that you're an expert in certain areas, it's backing up what you've written in your summary. If you had that a really good copywriter, but you've been endorsed for copywriting's right at the bottom. What you might want to do is just have a look at how you can get that copywriting endorsements up. Perhaps speak to a few people that ask them to endorse you for it if they've worked with you, and which is no harm in doing at all. The only thing that's slightly annoying about this skills and expertise is people can endorse you if they've never worked with you. They can endorse you for skills that you don't have in your profile. So always have a look, and if people endorse you for skills that you haven't got on your profile, then perhaps add them in. If someone's saying that you might do it without realizing, and you can have up to 50. Just one nice touch that I've been doing, especially to clients, really. If they endorse me, then I'll just drop them a little email saying thank you, and likewise, do go on and give them frequently, because if you're going to give them frequently, people are going to give them back to you. So especially look to endorse your clients and people that you work with on a close, on a closely day to day, or with their associates or colleagues. Has anyone kind of noticed their skills and expertise? Have you all started being endorsed for the skills that you've got? Just raise your hands. Oh, excellent. Almost all of you there are being endorsed. So that's brilliant. Definitely shows that, what you're doing is, going down really well with your clients. So, okay. So next part on your profile, recommendations. Definitely. I mean, if you're looking to get recommendations, I would always ask for them on LinkedIn. And then one little tip or trick that I do is, once I've asked for it on LinkedIn, I'll then copy that recommendation and put it on my website. Because the really great thing about having a recommendation on LinkedIn is it's come directly from that client. There's no way that anyone could have changed what your client's written, or kind of made it up. It has to come directly from your client. Just a few pointers when you're asking for recommendations. When you go into ask your client for one, don't just say, oh, please could you recommend me. Really try and be a bit specific about what you want them to recommend you for. What you did, what was the benefit to their company, or to them. Because by doing that anyway, it just jogs their memory as to perhaps what you've been doing for them for the past however long. But it also looks much better than someone just saying, oh, J Pluck provides an excellent service, which is lovely, but it's not very specific. And as with the skills and expertise, really have a think about who you can recommend, because there's nothing nicer than recommending someone. I mean, I did the last one I did, and it was so nice because the lady emailed me back, and was said, "Oh, it was so lovely to get your recommendation first thing on a Monday morning." So it all works with a two-way process, and if you can recommend, have a think about your the associates you might use for your clients. They might not all be VAs, so have a think about recommending them and the services they provide to your clients. Um, and definitely, when you get a recommendation from a client, tell everyone about it. You know, definitely put a post in LinkedIn, a LinkedIn update. Oh, thank you so much to so and so for, my lovely recommendation. Put it on Twitter, copy it and put it onto your Facebook page. Put it on your website. So really, if people are seeing that people are writing great things about you, then that it's only going to bring more business to you. The awards section, I just put this in here just to briefly touch on it, because I went to a conference a couple of years ago now, maybe a year ago, and I had someone talking about awards there. And they really said that by entering awards and by winning awards, not always about the winning, you can, just the entering as well, it gives exposure to your business. So have any of you, I know it's slightly aside from LinkedIn, but have any of you thought about entering an award, or have you entered an award for your business? Just raise your hand if you have. Lovely. Oh, brilliant. So, oh no, a couple of you have. Brilliant. um, really have a look at what's local to you, and what the more national, what ones for women in business, and mums in business, as some of your mums. It gives you more exposure, and now LinkedIn has this fantastic section where you can put it on there, and people can see that you have been have won an award, or and if you've been nominated for an award but you didn't perhaps win it, then definitely put that into your summary, because whether you've won or not, you've still been nominated. One of your clients may have nominated you, so definitely put that on there. It's something that's quite important to your business, and it's an achievement as well. That's that. So, oh, we won't go to that yet. There's just a couple more points that I want to just run through with. You'll all be familiar with it. And one is the previous roles. Now I'm sure that probably all or most of you were a PA before you launched your business. So if you were a PA, or you were an office manager, then make sure you detail that on your LinkedIn profile. The reason being is that if you've worked for a large company, and I know this from personal experience, that because I worked at PwC, a few clients that I've worked with, they're in the past now actually. They actually said, because of the company I'd worked for before, it showed a real what's the word I'm looking for? That you were, a top-rated PA. If you worked for a reputable company, a large corporate company, and that particular client was in the corporate industry herself, and that she really liked. Yes, credibility. Thanks, Janice. So put them on there and list all the, think of it as your CV. I mean, that's what LinkedIn was, before smaller businesses started to really utilize it. So add all the skills you had in there, because if you worked for a company that perhaps, and I've also had it where someone's said, oh, actually I used to work at PwC, and then we became clients because we both worked together. We weren't working together, it's a very large company, but because she knew I'd worked there, it worked in my favor. So definitely make sure you've got all those on there. So definitely then with your profile, make sure that you check it regularly. Make sure that you update your summary. Make sure that All the information is up to date. It's current with a description. To make your profile, you do always get notes in your LinkedIn profile if it's not complete, but you need to just have your two past positions, your education, your skills, a, a photo, and at least they say at least 50 connections. But as I said, it always tells you if you're missing bits. So we are whizzing through this. Any other questions on profiles or anything before I kind of just move on to the next bit? Oh, how do you find out about the wards? Um, well, I've over the years, I've just kind of this is a really I've just either found them on Twitter if people are tweeting about them. I've there's a thing because I'm a mum. There's a thing called Business Mums Weeks. There's not normally a lot around that time. There's also the VA Awards. Are any of you going to the VA conference this summer? Raise your hands if you are. Possibly. So, and that's another, award, awards that's very specific to our industry. You can enter. Um, there personally, there's a few like local ones to me that I've also found out, via Twitter. Actually, it's mainly how I find out about the awards. I do just write down, when I see one, I, I've got a spreadsheet of conferences that I know go on. So I just add to that over the time. Jackie's going as well to the VA conference. And there's also the office show, which is aimed at kind of VAs, PAs, and executive assistants as well. I don't think they've got an awards ceremony, but another good one to go to. And it's one thing actually about going to conferences. Uh, it have any of you been to a conference relating to your industry or relating to being a VA? Okay. Oh, excellent. About half of you. Brilliant. So, I mean, try and get to go to one every year or every other year. I know they are expensive, um, but uh, to find clients. And I always remember Karen Skidmore. I always talk about Karen Skidmore. Um, I went to a conference a couple of years ago now, and I got one of my clients there, and I'm still working with her, now. And Janice said Olympia was free last year, so a good tip there for everyone. When you go to a conference, go with aims and goals, and if you're looking to find a connection, someone that does a certain thing, always have a look at the delegate list before you go, and connect with people before you go. I don't mind talking about this because it is, it is all to do with networking and combining that with LinkedIn. So if you're going to go to a conference, definitely, if there's a speaker on there that you want to speak to, then connect with her on LinkedIn. Send them a message on LinkedIn to say, oh, really looking forward to the conference. Is there any chance we can catch up for 5 minutes? Um, you know, because sometimes, a lot of VAs, do work with coaches and trainers, and quite often there are quite a few coaches and trainers, at conferences. So definitely connect with them, because once they know you, even if they don't need a VA, if they know someone that does need a VA, they can then put you in contact. But definitely go to a conference with aims and goals, and if you want to, make meet a client, then go with that goal. And yeah, that's what I did. I met this client, and she's probably now my longest standing client. We've been working together for a long time now. So uh, yes, definitely good to kind of set a goal maybe for this year or next year to get along to a conference. So then, just going on to nicely to effectively combining, networking with LinkedIn. So, do any of you ladies go to a networking meeting near to you? Okay, about half of you. So to the ones that go, the ones that have said yes, do you go regularly? Okay, almost all of you there. So when you're going to start going to a networking group for your business, as some of you might have just launched, I don't know what at what stage you are within your business, but really just have a look to see what's around your local area. See at the prices because some of them do cost a lot to go. So really have a look at your budget and what you can afford to go to. Have a look at what people attend and most. Oh, Alison, just oh, brilliant. It's good to. Alison just said she's kind of just getting back into things after a few years out, so that's lovely. Um, so yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought there. So see which ones that you like, and a lot of them will. I think all the ones I've ever come across offer a free. Go along for the first one for free. Um, so just just try it out and see the client base that are there. See if they're you think they're going to be in the future potential clients. And then definitely just pick one or two because all our time's limited, and you could never really commit to do more than that. Uh, really you want to go along to them regularly. Um, so Janice has said, "What I'll do, Janice." Janice has said she hasn't found anything in her local area. I'll put the feelers out just to see if anyone I know knows anything in Essex for you. Let me just write that down. Yeah. So just see what's out there. Go along. Go to them regularly. And when I started going to the networking group here, Women in Business West Kent, I was probably going to that for about 6 months before um, anything turned into a client. So you have got to think people have got to get to know you. Um, they have got to get to know you, know what you're about, and then they'll start coming to you as clients. And I think the great thing about being a VA is that if you're in another industry and you're going along to a networking group, I really feel that VAs have a larger client base opportunities at networking meetings because everyone could need a VA. And just to say, when I first launched my business, I went along to a women's luncheon. It was completely set. It was just a one-off thing. It was a women's luncheon that I met someone there called Sue. She connected with me on LinkedIn, and then she asked me to talk because I told her of my interest in social media. Literally within about a month of me launching the business, she asked me to go and talk to a CMI management group about social media. So that was fantastic for raising my profile. And in fact, I still work. One of the gentlemen that went along to that meeting, I still speak to him regularly, and he still gives me work from his clients. So definitely when you go along to meetings, be confident. This does come with time, but be confident about what you do. Be confident that you do know a lot in your area. You may not think you know a lot. I mean, even for myself, social media always changes, and I always feel that I could know more. But you're always going to know more than that person that you're talking to. So as long as you feel confident in what you're saying, they'll trust you and they'll know that you're an expert. Um, so going back to Women in Business West Kent, uh, if you go to a group, what I would advise, if you can, is get on the committee. Get on that. Really be involved within that networking group. You do have to be careful about this because there is a group that is local to me. That the person organising it said that oh, can you basically he wanted a VA to kind of be there in the group, and you just have to make sure that people aren't going to take the mick out of you, that they don't want kind of a VA to do things for free. If you're on the committee of a group, it's slightly different because you're having a say about what perhaps what the talks are about, or what's going to be on the rota for that for that networking group. And if you can, I mean, I have, not all of you might like talking, which is completely understandable. But if you do, then, ask if you want, if they want you to be a speaker for that networking group. It's a way to, if you want to kind of get into that area, then it's a way to start building your confidence. And by doing that, I mean, I've talked for women in business. I was in the committee for, I've just stepped down this year, but I was in the committee for about 18 months. And I must have spoken to them about 4 or 5, yeah, definitely, maybe even more than that, 5 or 6 times over that course of time. So people really started to know what I could do, and with social media and email marketing, they they then they then knew what I did. So definitely when you're networking, offer to help anyone there. If they've got any questions that you might know the answer to, say, I'll find the answer out for you. Then what you can do is, make sure that you're connected with them on LinkedIn, and just give them that information that they required, because being that we're VAs, the question, the answer is bound to be found within one of your your VA connections. So definitely do that. And as I said, make sure you connect with all the attendees after the meeting. And one great feature within LinkedIn is that you can tag people. So if you go into your address book and you bring up with the connections, just down the middle, what you can do, I'll have a slide for this in the next session. But you can tag those people so you know that you've met them at a networking group. It just makes it easier for you. And I know, being VAs, we're all that slightly organised element to us. So it's just a nice feature. And just make sure that you keep up that connection with people. If you can't attend regularly to a networking meeting, then keep that connection going online. Speak to them via LinkedIn. If you want them to know something about what you're doing, then there's an email function within LinkedIn. You can email them. And if you want to pick up with somebody after a networking meeting, drop them an email on LinkedIn. And just say, could we just could you just pick up that what you left off, or what you were talking about, could you pick that up on a separate level, or a separate meeting? And also, when you're networking, think about who you can join forces with to help your clients. Um, you know, Within the group that I go to, there's a girl, Claire, that I work with, or two Claires actually. One who provides a lot of SEO work and Google AdWords that a lot of my clients are needing, and one does writing and checks documents for me. So by joining forces like that, and then connecting with them on LinkedIn, it's just going to grow your network. And that's what it's all about, really. LinkedIn, it's growing your network so that more people see what the updates that you're writing. Do connect with people immediately. Within a couple of days is ideal, because if you don't, people might forget. If people are going to a few meetings, they might forget where they've met you. And also, put your LinkedIn, that URL, if you've got it on your business cards and you're giving it to people at the meeting, then that's kind of spreading the word about your LinkedIn profile, and and people can connect with you after the meeting. So I mean, by doing that, and then specifically for Women in Business West Kent, and this might be something that you want to suggest to a networking group if you're a member of a networking group, is we have a LinkedIn group. So within that group, the women that go to it, we share information that might be useful for each other, or we share information about the meetings, what's coming up, and because of being on the committee and posting in that group regularly, that is how also some of my clients have come to me via LinkedIn. They've seen what I've been posting, and we are going to cover this more next week. But if you're posting, interesting, relevant, helpful information, then then people are gonna see, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. I want to link up with this VA and find out more about what they do. So after that, I mean, that's obviously my experience with, networking and, combining that with LinkedIn, because really everything's combined. I mean, you can't just do one thing. Everything's LinkedIn, and everything gets your name out there and shows you as the expert. But I mean, has that? Oh, here we go, Jackie. How often should you be active on LinkedIn? Some use it and you feel overwhelmed by the emails. Well, I would definitely say, not to sound too overwhelming, if you can post perhaps 2 or 3 things a week, aim for that. It's not too much to go by. By posting, I say, as a status update, if you can do that, and to make that easier. How many of you have a Hootsuite account or some kind of it could be social, it could be something to preset, to pre-schedule all your social updates. Okay, a couple of you. Oh no, half of you, excellent. So for those of you that haven't, have a look at. I love Hootsuite, so I will rave about it. I do use Social for one of my other clients, but have a look at Hootsuite because you can upload your LinkedIn account, your Twitter account, and your Facebook account, and you can schedule updates for all of them in one easy program. So try and schedule things there, and it could be anything around what you're doing, or a helpful program that you're using, anything like that. And obviously we'll cover that more in the next session. And then in the groups, if you're looking at doing them, try to go. If you can join 2 or 3 groups that are good groups, stick with them for a month or so. Just try and post in them, or answer other people's posts. Just pop in a couple of times a week, just to give that consistency. And being VAs, we could all just schedule half an hour or an hour of our time a week, just to make sure that that's done. Um, uh, um, and uh, and also, and we'll talk about this again next week, but you can refer people if you want to connect. Sorry, not refer. If you want to be, it's introduced. If you want to be introduced to somebody that someone at your networking group knows, ask them via LinkedIn to be introduced to that person that you want to connect with. So yes. So just to finish off, there's a few more little tips because I know Jackie's going to close the call. Just in your settings section, if you're looking at doing some amendment to your profile, always there's a thing there called turn off or on your activity broadcasts if amending your profile. So although it's very good if you're amending your profile every now and again, you're adding in another thing that you're doing, or you're adding in another kind of case study. Yes, don't turn it off because it's good for people to be reminded about what you're doing. But if you're going in, you're spending a bit of time just amending your profile, just turn that off so it doesn't annoy people by saying, oh, J Pluck has amended her profile, J Pluck has amended her profile. And also make sure that in the profile sections of your settings, that your photo visibility, that everyone can see your photo, and also you can check that who you want to see your activity feed. if everyone's seeing your activity feed, that more people are seeing what you're writing. You can also have your connections as well if you just want your connections to see it. But if you have everyone, then that is how, by having that, by people seeing my updates, is how people have then connected with me to become, for them to become a client, because they've seen what I've written and they like what I've been writing. So I think, so Jackie's just said there, do any of you feel shy posting on LinkedIn? You might do, if you're new to it, it might seem quite daunting. So how do people feel? Do people feel confident in posting on LinkedIn? Put your hand up if you feel confident. Okay, so for those of you that are, perhaps aren't feeling confident, don't worry. That will come with time. The problem is, if you've just started up your business, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I don't know if I'm going to come across as an expert. When you start doing things for your clients, it could be diary management, it could be organizing travel, then you might come across a fantastic travel company that could organize a travel stress free. Well, you could share that. So there's definitely things that you can start sharing by the tasks that you're doing for your clients. And if after the LinkedIn training, both sections, if you're still having some problems, then do come to me. Do write me an email, and we can have a chat offline if you're struggling. Um, uh, Vivek, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly there. She's saying that I'm not sure what to post. Well, that's when just really, oh V, sorry V, um, uh, that's really having a look at what you do for your clients. You might do the more kind of standard PA stuff, or you might be doing CRM things for your clients. So you might use a really good CRM system that works really well, and you could write a little tip. Oh, do you want to never miss that call again? By using a CRM system, you can have reminders set up so that so that you don't forget that call. Or you might use an invoicing package for your business, or an accounts package. I use Zero. That's fantastic, and quite often I post about that. And in fact, by posting about that on LinkedIn about Zero, my accountant now, she saw that, and kind of then wanted more information. So I spoke to her offline, off LinkedIn, and told her how great Zero was, and then she started using that for her clients, which now is me. Um, so, uh, so yeah, just have a think about the what you do, and what handy little programs you might pick up. I personally just keep an Excel spreadsheet of every program that although I might not need it myself, I keep a note of it, because somebody, one of my clients or another VA, might need it. Anyway, that's me done on the part one. Part two, we're just going to go into more depth on how to find new clients on LinkedIn. What ways you can, what things you can do to find new clients. What to say in LinkedIn groups to show you as the expert. I'll also cover in more detail about the updates as well, and also just go into why you can follow companies. And although I don't deal with whenever I deal with clients' LinkedIn profiles, I deal with their personal profile, but I can just talk a little bit about a company page and your personal page as well, so I can cover that briefly for you. So I'll hand over to Jackie. I look forward to seeing you all